Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and let's go, Brandon. I mean, fuck Joe Biden. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the Big Honker Podcast with the world famous Andy Shaver.
I Brandoned up that intro.
You did.
Poof.
You
Terrible.
know,
Terrible.
the White House come out today and said we need a fourth booster, or fourth shot, second booster now. And while they're doing this, Texas A&M had to cancel their football game.
Had to or chose to?
Chose to, because they don't have enough kids to play, because most of them have been vaccinated. The NFL had to move games to Tuesday, and 99% of the NFL is vaccinated. When do we catch on to these fucking vaccines ain't working?
Stephen A. Smith got it. He said, thank God I was vaccinated.
Yeah, that's the dumbest shit ever. You might not have got it if you weren't vaccinated. I've had COVID twice. You've had COVID twice. I'm pretty sure I had it a second time, too, when everybody around here had it. No, for sure I had it once. I have the antibodies in my system. I may die from it next week. Who knows? If I do, I've had a great life. But I'm not going to run around and wear a fucking mask. And now, count Boston and Chicago as two places I'm not going, because you're supposed to be vaccinated to be in the city. In Chicago, they ought to be giving out fucking bulletproof vests instead of vaccinations is what they should be doing. But Mayor Beetlejuice there, that's one ugly dude right now, that lady mayor. Woo.
Yeah, not good.
But I just don't. I don't understand how many boosters people are going to take before they realize, this ain't helping, because people that are getting the vaccines are the ones that are getting sick.
I don't know. I've not seen any of this language that you're speaking of.
Well, that's because you've been hunting all day.
I mean, I've not seen that they say if you have a vaccine that you are more likely to get the virus.
Well, since everybody's getting the vaccines, we got a lot more virus going on. We have more people sick now than we did a year ago. We went backwards. The Omicron variant, we've had one person die from it, they say, from it. We've sure done a whole lot of shutting shit down for one death. How many people do you think this week alone died of the influenza? Or do people even get the influenza anymore? Because you don't hear nothing of it. But more people, there's been one person die of Omicron in this country. One person. And we have shut down shit, and people are locked down again because of it. I even saw where Bill Gates has decided to cancel his Christmas plans because of the Omicron.
My question is, how do they know it's that strain?
They don't. They don't have a clue. Biden come out and said it's your patriotic duty to get the shot. Right. That motherfucker, if you talk about patriotism, he's the last dude I would be following an example of. Who's, I think he's down around 30% approval rating.
What's that got to do with his patriotism?
He ain't no fucking patriot. He don't give a fuck about America. He cares about China and his wallet, like all the motherfuckers do in Washington, D.C. Oh. People want you to take a vaccine, all them politicians, because they all own stock in fucking Moderna and Pfizer.
I've been listening. I started the Joe Rogan podcast he had a doctor on. This doctor says that they were working on the vaccine before this ever even broke out.
Well, how did that happen then if they didn't even know it was coming?
They said they were projecting it to be 2025 when all this came out, and it started in 2020. But that's why they made hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and all that stuff. That's why they fought them tooth and nail. They'd been developing this vaccine before they even.
So before we even had a pandemic, we had they knew it was coming.
They had the vaccine in the works. Is what I'm only about 30 minutes in. Everybody that everybody that I know, a lot of people that I know, have said that that's one of the best podcasts that they've ever listened to. So
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
It's Dr. I just started it this morning on the way to the field.
We have a top 100 podcast. In the state of Texas, we are one of the top 100.
Peter A. McCullough.
But
Dr. Peter A. McCullough.
Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast out of Texas.
And
I recommend people listen to him on that. Does Joe Rogan seem to yeah, well, I know. I was just using Texas since the tumbleweed situation.
Oh. Texas-sized podcast.
Yeah. I consider Joe Rogan a pretty sharp guy. We have some difference of opinions on some things, but he's a smart person. I have difference of opinions on you on a lot of things, and I think you're a smart person. He's a smart guy. He's not going to have someone come on his podcast and talk that's not credible.
Well, yeah.
He's not getting some whack doctor out there is what I'm saying.
No. This guy, he says he's one of the most peer-reviewed or whatever the fuck that is. He's got his credentials in line.
And here's a guy
out of Dallas, too, I think.
Here's a guy who's telling you that they started working on the vaccine before the pandemic even started, which means it was released on purpose. This has been a plan the whole time. Donald Trump fucked up their plan. They never expected him to get. Could you imagine if we'd had Hillary Clinton when all this shit happened? We would still be locked down. We would all be fucking sitting in our houses wearing a mask, sitting around each other talking.
And he also said, I've only seen a clip of this. I've not gotten to this part of the podcast, but he said that it breaks the Nuremberg Code for a doctor to recommend a vaccine. It's illegal. You can't do it.
I don't know about the Nuremberg Code, so I can't. Amateur gynecology, we didn't have to take all these classes, so I didn't know about all this. There is no doubt that something sinister is going on in the world, and they are selling this shit to the people that watch ABC, NBC, and CBS. If you watch them channels and you don't ever go outside the box, you're buying into everything they're saying. And hey, I was going to get the first shot. I thought, hell yeah, they got this booster. I mean, the shot, it's going to be a good vaccine. Why would you not take it? And luckily, you and Sareki talked me out of it. And I'm glad I didn't do it now because I'm still a pureblood.
I'm trying to find where he talked about the Nuremberg trials.
And I don't know the statistics on this, and I don't even know how you would check to see, but I'm going to bet you the statistics of Democrats and Republicans that have the vaccine, I'm going to bet it's pretty close on the same percentage of those who don't.
You mean
that do not have it? I think there's a 20% of the Democrats are not getting into the vaccine. I think 20% of the Republicans aren't either. Conservatives, they're bases. I know the minorities are not buying into this shit.
As of December 6th, somebody brought a lawsuit up against Fauci, Gates, Fauci, and Daszak, charged with genocide in court filing with ties to the Nuremberg trials. So we'll see.
Those are.
But it's so far it is an interesting episode that Joe put on.
I mean, here we are now. This has almost been 2 years now in our country, this COVID. I'm going to be completely honest, and for the people that live in other parts of the country and other countries that have hunted with us and talking to them, they're living a completely different life than us because we're not living any different than we were in 1998 right now, are we?
Hunting's a little tougher.
No, I'm not talking about hunting. I'm talking about you're going to places.
Oh. Yeah.
Other than the store not having some products that we normally buy, if we go to the grocery store, you're not seeing people with masks everywhere.
No.
If we go out to eat dinner, we don't even ask about a mask. Our world is different in Texas compared to some other states. Mm-hmm. And when I hear guys, I had a guy come in here the other day from, I think they're from outside of Illinois somewhere, and he's like, God, I couldn't believe it, man. First time we stopped somewhere in Texas, they went to Walmart to get some stuff, and he goes, nobody was wearing a mask. Mm-mm. You know, it wasn't a big deal. And then he said, man, y'all just a whole different world down here. There's not a wall between states. It's an imaginary line. Mm-hmm. There ain't no difference. It's just the way we think and the way our politicians are doing something.
Just gotta live, baby. LIVIN. Keep on a living.
Well, and there's a lot of people that aren't living right now. Mm-mm. What do you let's talk about Santa Claus for a minute. Tony told me interesting today. He said you had some history on Santa Claus. He said it was pretty interesting too.
I don't know if this is history, but
it's something you read, right?
If you have a young child in the car with you, please pause it. Please pause it.
Mama's just not kissing Santa Claus.
If you have a young child, please pause this podcast. I'm begging you. So, I'm assuming that you have paused this. If you're still listening and the cat comes out of the bag, well, it's on you. So, a long time ago, these people noticed that when reindeer would eat this special mushroom called the Amanita muscaria, it's red and white. I'll pull it up for you. The reindeer would dance and prance and just have a jolly old good time. you know, they would. I'll pull it up for you.
So that they were drunk?
No, they were fucking hallucinating.
Okay, well they were on something then.
Yes, they were on this mushroom, and you know, they dance and prance, and you know, they were blitzed basically.
And that's where Dancer, Prancer, and Blitzen comes up with.
Could be.
Could be or not.
I don't know where the.
You got a damn computer in front of you.
Well, I understand that, but I'm trying to tell the story. So they would eat this. They would eat this mushroom. It's red and white. They would eat this mushroom. Well, humans would try to eat it, and it was toxic. But what they started observing from the reindeer is reindeer would drink the urine from other reindeer. So these people started drinking the urine of the reindeer, and then they would hallucinate. Because I guess as it's passed through the reindeer, it's no longer toxic for humans. So eat yellow snow.
It filters it out.
Right. So the shamans in Russia, they had a lot of snow. So they would put whatever they would need for these trips in a tote, and they would go in through the chimney. The shamans would.
So the shaman was where we're getting our present day Santa Claus from, and he's instead of bringing gifts, he was bringing hallucinants.
He was bringing the Amanita muscaria for these people that would want to.
Was it snowed so high that's what they had to get entered the house through the fire?
That's how they would get in.
Well, you better hope to hell the fire's out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. Why reindeer love magic mushrooms? I should have pulled this up before. I didn't realize you were going to segue into this so quickly. I
find it pretty interesting, but the Dancer, the Prancer, and the Blitzen make sense.
Yeah. I think this was it. So, there was once a time. There was one aspect of Siberian mushroom intoxications reported even in the earliest source that must have seemed singularly shocking to one who encountered it for the first time. But yeah, basically that's where it is. You know, one thing that I've wondered, so that's where you get flying reindeer, basically. If you were ever, that's one theory as to where you got flying reindeer, because they would take this and, you know, they drink the urine of all these people or all these reindeer and fuck around for a little bit, and they were flying. So
look up the history of Santa Claus while you're doing this.
Hold on. I want to talk. The history of Christmas is what always gets me, because there's plenty of evidence in the Bible that Jesus was not born in the wintertime. The animals were not in the stable, which would indicate that it's not cold outside. And there was also a census being taken. They said that happened usually around September, which was why Mary and Joseph were going to Bethlehem at the time.
To be counted on the census?
Yes. So that happened, they think, in the late fall. Or early fall, excuse me. Around my birthday, September 20th. The pagans, the theory that I've heard is, as Christianity was going through Europe, it ran into pagans. So pagans were a sun-worshiping religion. Everything revolved around the sun. They have a winter solstice celebration. So they would mark the sun, and, you know,
December 22nd.
The days get shorter, and then about December 21st, we have our winter solstice. The days stop getting shorter.
On December 22nd.
On December 21st.
It goes back.
No.
So it's the 20th is
takes
the
about 4 days to notice that the days are getting longer.
So December 25th then.
About December 25th, you start realizing that the days are getting longer. The sun is coming back. So, as Christianity started going through Europe, they were meeting these pesky pagans, trying to get them on board with Christianity and convert them from paganism. And they said, wait a second. We also have a holiday around December 25th. It's the birth of our Son and Savior, Jesus Christ. So we're one and the same. You can come over to our tribe. We won't hurt you. So, that's another theory on Christmas. Did you know that it was actually illegal to celebrate Christmas in the 1800s in America? 1870, I think, was when Christmas became a holiday.
It was illegal?
Yep. In Boston, you would be arrested if you celebrated Christmas.
Look that up. I don't buy that shit.
Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to do all that.
That's I don't buy that.
You don't buy that?
No.
Okay. Well, Jeff, when Boston banned Christmas, the 17th century Boston.
1659 until 1681. That's not 1870.
Oh, hold on. I think Christmas became
It may have become a national
recognized holiday
in
in
1870.
1870.
But
Let me look.
there's a big difference between 1680 and 1870.
Yeah, so the 1600s.
Yeah.
So for 30 years, you would get thrown in the clink if you celebrated Christmas in Boston. But I think that had to do with
It's actually
with
you
the
were
Puritans.
fined. You weren't thrown in jail. You were fined 5 shillings.
I think that had to do with the Puritans or something that didn't observe
Probably
Christmas.
so, because that's probably who was there at that time.
And which I don't know the difference between. Yeah, there we go. Puritans were in the tradition of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Constantly rallied against the Church of England. What a time to be alive. Yep. So Christmas was not always. Oh, here it is. Christmas was too pagan. Not only was the observation of Christmas left out of biblical text, the date December 25th was a decidedly blasphemous one. Julius the first likely picked the date December 25th to hasten the adoption of Christian holiday, and now coincided with an already widely celebrated Roman holiday, Saturnalia, a celebration filled with raucous parties. Yeah, so that was another thing I read about Christmas. It was just a time, it was basically like Mardi Gras for these people.
Yeah, and it's from reading the rest of that right there, the Puritans hated it because all the poor people would go to the rich people and expect them to give them food and drinks. So like having a bunch of damn Democrats running around grabbing shit from you. See that right there?
Yeah.
That's interesting how we have went from Christmas, and then in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, Christmas was about being around loved ones, and then it got so commercialized in the 60s, late 60s and early 70s to we've come to the shithole that it's become now. And I hate to say that about Christmas, but Christmas is so far from what it should be right now.
Right.
It's all about trying to updo, you know. And you know, there's someone listening right now. There's that guy that's with his girlfriend right now, and they're in the car listening, and she's got her friend whose boyfriend is buying her way too much shit, and she's going to compare it to the poor fucker that she's riding with right now.
Well, I had to give one of our young guides some advice.
I cannot wait to hear this.
He was so excited. Show me what he bought his significant other. Lingerie.
That's a gift for himself.
I was like, listen, bud. I know you're excited about
this. Is it the one with a really good-looking girlfriend?
It was one of the guides with a good-looking girlfriend.
Okay, that's what I figured it would be.
I said, I know you're excited about this. I bought lingerie for Jesse like 7 years in a row. It gets worn half a time, maybe.
For 37 seconds.
And it's just, it's a waste of money. They look at it as like, Jesus, lingerie, seriously, this is what you got me? All the stuff you could.
You're going to get the outcomes the same. Buy her something she's... Maybe the outcome would be even a little more fun if you bought her something she liked.
So
did he still... Is he still giving it to her?
Oh, of course. He's not. I mean, they're just dating at this point. They're not getting married or anything. So, buy the lingerie and ride it for all it's worth. But
that's funny because for the employees we have right here, that's one side of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is a guy that works here that's a little older told me today he was getting his a robe.
Oh, really?
Nothing see-through, just a robe.
Just a robe?
He was a practical gift.
The social ban on Christmas didn't really wane even as non-Puritans immigrated to Boston. Schools were officially open on Christmas Day as late as 1870. There you go. With harsh punishments for kids who skipped out. So I was partly right.
No, you said it was illegal.
Well, they didn't celebrate it until 1870. In 1870, Ulysses S. Grant was the first president to declare Christmas a national holiday.
So when you watch an old Bonanza from back in the day and it shows them singing Christmas songs from the 1850s, it's probably not happening.
Probably weren't doing that.
Yeah. I wonder when all the most of the Christmas songs are also wrote by one man, like Santa Claus is coming to town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. One guy wrote all those things. Well, what a smart guy! He sat down one day and said, "I'm gonna become rich. I'm gonna write some Christmas songs." You know what the #1 Christmas song is?
Mariah Carey.
Yes.
All I Want for Christmas.
Did we talk about this on the show already?
No.
She has made millions of dollars on that and did not want to do the song.
Really?
Yeah. I think she's made $37 million off that one song or something. I read about it the other day. She was dating either Terry Jam or Terry Flower. I can't remember his name. The guy that produced all of Janet Jackson's music, and that's who she was marrying. She was dating at the time, I guess. And he came up with that. American Rocker, All I Want for Christmas royalties right there. And he came up that.
60 million or
she makes 600,000 to 1 million every year.
Wow.
Every December.
Can you imagine?
That's a hell of a paycheck.
Just knowing, like, all right, I'm a little broke,
Yep.
and we're going to need December to get here so I can make a little bit of coin.
Tommy Mottola, maybe is who wrote it. Anyways, that song makes her $1 million. That's better than Bobby Bonilla's contract with the fucking Mets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird that we celebrate Christmas.
Why do you say it's weird?
Well, I mean, just whenever you think about it, like,
the birth of Jesus is a really great thing. We just happen to do it at a different time.
But we don't even know when the birth of Jesus was.
I understand that, but that's what we're celebrating is the birth of Jesus. That's what it's about. So let's say he was born on March 3rd. It don't matter.
But do you think that there could be any merit to trying to convert pagans and creating a holiday?
Have you ever been in a room and you told a secret, and by the time it gets to the other side of the room, it's completely different than what it was said? So yeah, I don't put that past that at all. I'm just saying the concept of celebrating Jesus Christ's birthday is a wonderful thing. I don't think there's anybody that should be against that. Now, do I think that they lied to do something? We're talking about preachers. You know my thoughts on preachers, don't you? You know,
not preachers, but I mean people that were. They looked at the pagans as like these crazy people. They worship the sun. Look at them.
No, I understand.
We can dupe them, maybe.
Yeah, preachers.
So, is Christmas a Christian holiday?
Yes. The concept of believing in Jesus Christ and the birth of Him, yes. All the commercialization of it, no. Whoever came up with buying gifts, was a hell of a salesperson.
Well, it's kind of like Halloween. Whoever came up with that idea, the candy company.
You know, there's more Halloween decorations sold than Christmas decorations.
Really?
You drive around our town right now. Yeah, I was going to say there's probably more houses decorated for Halloween than Christmas, but there probably isn't. But it's not. It's pretty close.
Origin of Christmas. I don't know. And I feel like a dirty Christian for saying these things.
Well, you're a good Christian.
Well, I mean, it's just.
I mean, you sign checks at your church. You're a good guy.
I don't know. It's just it's. I feel dirty almost for talking about it.
Well, I don't think Jesus in the manger expects us to be what we've come to. I mean, you look in our hunting lodge right now. We have a Christmas tree with bulbs, lights, candy canes on them. We have garland across the deal. We've got stockings hung. And, I mean, that has nothing to do with what we're doing. It has nothing to do with Jesus at all.
Many people rejoiced during the winter solstice when the worst of winter was behind them. Fuck, I hope the worst.
God, we're in big trouble.
We're fucked. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January in recognition of the return of the sun. Fathers and sons would bring home large logs with the Yule log. So that's how that happened. Saturnalia in Rome, where winters were not as harsh as the ones far north, Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated beginning in the week leading up to the winter solstice.
So do you think we'll have Christmas in 100 years?
I don't know. I really don't know. In the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. In the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention the birth date, a fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration. Although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring where the shepherds would be herding. Why would the shepherds be herding in the middle of winter? Pope Julius I chose December 25th.
Well, and it says right there, too, it is commonly in the middle of winter. Pope, he chose that because it was going to absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. So they were having their festival of the Harvest Festival, which we would have nowadays in...
Not the Harvest Festival.
That's what the Saturnalia was, they said a minute ago.
Oh, because the winters weren't as harsh.
I guess.
So they were getting crops and stuff.
They were in the south, too. They were in the southern part of Italy. So I don't know what the weather's like there, but I'm assuming it's like Florida. You know, Florida in October, November, and December is not bad.
Right.
Or January.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always, feel a little dirty whenever these topics come up because it is it's a holiday about Jesus, but was it really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it just a big ruse to get these people to convert to Christianity?
Probably so. Is a preacher selling his goods? Now, if he's selling Christianity and saving their souls, it's a great thing. If he was saving it to try to put more money in the pot every week.
So here's your answer. Washington Irving reinvents Christmas in America. It wasn't until the 19th century that Americans began to embrace Christmas. They reinvented Christmas and changed it from raucous carnival holidays and a family-centered day of peace and nostalgia. But what about in the 1800s piqued the interest of the holiday?
Plus, people became more... Up until that time, people were mostly migrants anyways. There wasn't a lot of this is my home, I'm going to live here forever in my neighborhood, and I'm going to do this. People bounced back and forth, and there was people, going west to chase this or that. There wasn't a lot of stability in the world.
In America?
Yes, and so you started seeing more of that in the mid-1800s where towns would grow and there would become focal points of a deal. It wasn't just like we're going to chase the buffalo or the gold rush or
right.
Actually, towns became towns. And, there become a solid lock of things, whether it be a railroad or whatever it was then.
Family was becoming less disciplined and more sensitive to emotional needs of children during the early 1800s. So it was a we like you said, we kind of got civilized as a country,
yes.
And we could start taking care of our children a little bit more, spoiling them a little bit, give them a little piece of candy instead of coal.
It wasn't you didn't have kids to be working around the house. You had kids because you wanted a family. Now they also did a lot of work around the farms and stuff till the late 1900s, but. The legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas. Me and your sons talked about this in the hot tub last night. So
Saint Nicholas.
We talked about all that last night. They didn't know who Kris Kringle was, and I said
he's got a lot of names.
He does, and we talked about Saint Nicholas, and it's and then Santa Claus was short for Santa Claus, and someone decided one day that they owned a toy factory, and they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start selling Christmas toys at Christmas every year, so we're going to come up with Santa Claus, and that's how that all started. I did not know that 'Twas the Night Before Christmas was written in 1881. No, I'm trying to... In 1822, an Episcopal minister, Clement Clark Moore, wrote a Christmas poem called An Account of a Visit from St. Nicholas, more popularly known today by its first line, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse."
Each year, 30 to 35 million real Christmas trees are sold. What, in your opinion, have we talked about the best Christmas movie? It's got to be Christmas Vacation.
I would hard to disagree with you that it used to be for me a Christmas Story, but I've got sick and tired of it being on 24/7.
Yeah,
I think we did. I think we did talk about this.
It. But in the Middle Ages, Christmas was more like Mardi Gras. Christmas was canceled, outlawed in Boston. Christmas was declared. Eggnog was first consumed by Captain John Smith.
You know, it's pretty funny. I just read that I went to the store with Mom the other day, and there's a new milk company that's somewhere out of the Panhandle, and they sell glass bottles of milk. Have you seen them yet? They have them in United.
I think I have. Yeah, Jesse's a sucker for that.
Mom buys that shit too.
It's milk in a glass bottle.
Yep.
She thinks it's going to taste any different. It's fucking milk in a glass bottle. You're paying $4 more for it. It's milk in a glass bottle. And it's less milk.
Mom bought some the other day, and they have pumpkin spice milk, which does not sound good to me at all.
I like pumpkin spice.
If you were a coffee drinker and you like the pumpkin spice, or you were making a pumpkin spice cake, I could see where you'd do that. They also have eggnog.
Oh, I like eggnog.
They have eggnog milk now.
That would be good, maybe. I
started to buy some, and I didn't. I'm going to stop and get some tonight because we're going to town tonight again. And I'm going to bring some. That way we'll have it for Christmas if you want it. We bought some regular eggnog, which I like regular eggnog. It has to have nutmeg in it, though.
Rudolph was invented in 1939.
So there was no Rudolph before
1939.
1939. So I guess all those dancers,
Dancer, Prancer, and all them
is bullshit.
It's all, it just goes to show you like how much trust your kids have in you.
Whoa, hold up right there. The Salvation Army has been sending Santa Claus clad donation collectors in the streets since the 1890s. One day, the Starvation Army is like, how the hell can we make some more money? And they said, we'll put some fucker ringing a fucking bell in front of every Walmart in America. And look what they do now.
But it just goes to show you the trust that your kids have in you, because it's a wild story. He's going to go all around the world in one night, stopping at every house of every boy and girl. And we don't have chimneys here in the South, so that was always a big stumbling block for Reese. So
That's because he's a thinker.
Yeah, he's like, "How? We don't have a chimney, Dad. Like, we got a fireplace, but there's no chimney." And I'm just like, well, he's magic. I don't know what to tell you, bud.
We have a key that Mom got you guys when she was little, and it was a magic Santa Claus key. You see that picture right there on the H vault?
Yeah.
That was a show called, God almighty, what was the name of that show? Brian Keith or Brian Denny was the dad on it. And that little kid, and it was a show, God, what was their freaking names? Show set in the 60s in New York. It was like a single dad. He was an attorney, and that's what that picture's from. And I think that kid is Mickey Rooney, maybe.
Really?
I think. I can't remember the whole story on it.
But it is such a good time for kids. And then they get jaded like me in their adult life. But, I mean, we've got this Elf on the Shelf, and we move that every day, and the kids go looking for it, and then,
That's magic.
Sure, it's a lot of fun.
Imagine when that's over for them. There's nothing else left anymore. When I was that age, we had Santa Claus till you were 5th or 6th grade is before you started really getting, you weren't quite sure. If a kid watches TV now, he can catch on pretty quick because
we were watching something. What was it? Well, fuck, we were watching Four Christmases.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, nah, I think Santa's gift's going to be right around the $10 range. And that kid's like, there's no Santa Claus? And I'm like, Reese, there is. That kid's just, he's not getting anything for Christmas because he doesn't believe. But okay, Dad. So we don't watch that show anymore.
No, but, well, I can't believe you let me watch it. Google me, bitch.
That's a fun show.
For you?
For me.
That's
the holidays are
about
like
buying lingerie.
Now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're going to watch Four Christmases for me.
I don't think there's kids today get ruined on everything from the Tooth Fairy to Easter Bunny. That was all magical when I was little.
Right.
I remember one Christmas, my grandparents came from Kansas City to stay with us, and we were out for Christmas break, of course, and my mom was at work and my dad was at the fire station, and we had to go to a babysitter. I was probably in 2nd grade, and I still remember this day. We pulled up in our house, and my grandparents' car was there, and I was so excited. I loved my grandpa Cordy. Man, couldn't wait to see him. And we went in the house, and the tree was full of gifts. Mm-hmm. My grandparents had bought us all kinds of stuff, and the trees were full of stuff. And I was like, man, this is awesome, And that night, we went to sleep. Well, we had a toy room, which was kind of like where me and Tony, my grandparents would sleep. And me and Tony shared a room, but we had a toy room. We slept in the same room, but we had a room that we played in and shit. And
priorities.
Made a pallet. Well, it was full of toys. It was a fun room. But anyways, we had a pallet in the floor in there, and that's where me and Tony slept that night. But I remember that night hearing a noise on the roof. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's Santa Claus.
That's him.
That's him.
He's coming down the roof.
And it snowed that night, so we had a white Christmas, which was very rare for us. We didn't have very many of them. But went outside that night, I remember that. And to this day, I still remembered it. And it was the coolest thing ever because I thought Santa Claus I heard him on my roof.
Right.
And they did the same thing back then. Now you can check it on your phone and see the Santa tracker and shit.
Tracker.
But it would come on the news at 10 o'clock at night, and that's the first thing they'd do is we talked to NORAD, and they'd show the radar, and they'd some freaking fucked up looking cloud looking thing, and that'd be Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. But it was so cool and so great. And, man, I'm telling you right now, the late 60s and early 70s was a great time to be a kid growing up because there was enough technology that it was really cool and interesting, but there wasn't enough to ruin it.
Right.
And kids today just don't have any of that going on.
So this is the census that the Romans had. I don't know. We don't have to get into that. There's a lot to read. And I'm not brushed up on it. All I know is that there was a census, which was why they were going to Bethlehem. Not, where did we say Jesus was born?
One day with Jerusalem, it was Bethlehem. We both knew that. We just...
Yeah.
I told a guy the other day, called me on the phone, was talking to me about some stuff that he got going on the podcast, and he was pointing out all the things where he'd been wrong on, which was very nice of him.
I appreciate you taking time.
And
does he have a list? Like, does he write it down?
Well,
like
he must have.
He's got like 4 in this episode.
And I told the guy, I said, we do everything off the cuff. We don't even have a syllabus wrote out or a timestamp or I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. We just talk about stuff, and it's easy to get confused. We both know that freaking Jesus was not born.
Was that one of his things?
Yes,
because we corrected it like on the next podcast.
Yeah, but it didn't matter.
Oh, it didn't matter.
But I have calls like this all the time over stuff that just we mess up sometimes. We do. I mean, and if you'd have called me the last 3 days with no wind and a full moon and 80 degrees, you'd have known I really have been frustrated and flustered because we've had the worst 3 days of hunting in December that I could ever remember. Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating, but we're busy and we're going and going and going, but I don't have time to write down a timestamp of everything we're going to talk about on the podcast. We didn't write nothing down. Right. I told Andy before we got on here, because we're going to talk a little bit about Santa Claus because Andy was giving Tony some education this morning, and Tony said it was pretty interesting.
Tony's first thing, you didn't find it as interesting as Tony did. He's easily entertained. First thing he said was reindeer are one of the only mammals that sees on the UV spectrum, and I was like, well, if you drink reindeer urine after they've eaten a mushroom, you can go on a trip and you can see the reindeers fly, and then the shaman going down the chimney. So
was the shaman in Russia? Were they going to be? I'm assuming there's closely the people that live on Kamchatka or whatever it is on that far eastern side of Russia. Are they a lot like our Eskimos?
No, I think they're Russians, Jeff.
Well, I understand that, but the land bridge, they said the people came from there over to America.
Oh, right.
And I wonder if that's the same. I wonder if Russia has their own sort of Inuits, Eskimos, whatever the hell you want to call them.
That I don't know. The story of Santa Claus is not the creation of Coca-Cola, nor St. Nicholas, or a children's story.
I'll give you $100 if you can tell me the name of the guy who painted the Santa Claus.
Can't do it.
The famous one.
I can barely remember my
Sunblum
own
is his
name
last
right
name.
now.
Sunblum. The Coca-Cola Santa Claus is the most famous Santa Claus there is.
Really?
Yes.
Hundreds of years ago it was found. Solstice ceremony. So there he is.
And that's the mushroom.
There's the shaman.
No, that's fat-ass Blake Poppy.
Wearing red and white.
That's that deer slayer. Blake has killed more deer with his Chevy than he has his bow and arrow this year.
Now, here's what's nasty. So after the shaman had ingested the mushroom or drunk the urine of reindeer, the hallucinations and reactions of the Amanita began. But I think for you to get high, I think you have to drink the shaman's piss.
Huh?
I think so. I think he has to ingest the Amanita muscaria, and I think he has to pee, and then you got to drink his pee for you to get high. People and their drugs, man, I'm telling you what. Legend says that during their trips, the shaman would manage to see the future of the community, blah, 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 of course. All of them say that.
I think the old shaman guy is about like the old Catholic priest that was banging all the ladies in there, so they made him quit getting married.
Yeah.
That guy, he was just telling people to do all kinds of shit, so someone's drinking his piss.
Drink my piss, lady. Another similarity to Christmas. Hole of the roof.
It says to me like this what do you call this mushroom?
Amanita muscaria.
That ain't much difference than the people that's doing is it the Wahiska or what is it?
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, yeah.
Yeah. What's that say?
He was chased by a demon with an 8-legged horse.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Look at Tony all slicked up.
Tony's going to go try to get his pee-pee wet. With time, Christianity related the Christmas to the 4th century Turkish bishops. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's interesting that through the years we've gotten this holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's perverted into how many gifts can you give me?
And if it's lingerie.
And is it lingerie?
So do you think a woman, when she unwraps lingerie, she's thinking, this ain't fucking much of a gift?
Now I got to dress up? I got to go dress up in a costume? Yeah, probably so.
How much Santa Claus lingerie you think they've sold?
Why would you get Santa Claus lingerie?
You ain't never seen the red label?
No.
With the white Oh, yeah.
That looks silly.
So that's a bad gift for your mom?
Yeah, that's silly.
Damn it. But they sell a lot of that.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Well, they wouldn't sell it if they didn't sell a lot of it.
The origins of Santa can be traced back to Siberian and European North. Who knows? Who cares? Nobody cares. But it's interesting.
It is, and we covered some Santa Claus stuff and some Christmas. And
You can turn it back on. We'll stop ruining the holiday. But it is. I mean, it's supposed to be a time. Now we've kind of like blended it. We've kind of got like the drunkenness and the family time now. We're almost back to the way that they first celebrated Christmas in the 1600s or whatever.
Well, I'm going to tell you that my advice for people on Christmas, to the young guys that are listening to this, is, first of all, I think you're cheesy if you buy your wife an engagement ring for Christmas. I think you're just getting out of giving her a gift. And I think later down the road she's going to realize this. So
Jesse hadn't. That's when we got engaged, Jeff.
Well, I hope she don't listen to this and know what a tight ass you were for not buying her a gift.
Fucking most expensive Christmas present she's ever gotten.
I know, and it was sorry because you should have bought her another gift. So don't buy lingerie, engagement rings. Go with the standard thing. Get her something from Tiffany's. Every woman loves something in a Tiffany box, no matter what it is. I did not do that this year.
I have a tough time around Christmas because I always think about the poor little shits that didn't get anything.
You do?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I really do. I don't enjoy Christmas at all, really.
I
really don't. And the older that I get, I really don't enjoy Christmas. And I got kids now, and it just Christmas. I don't like it.
I have overextended my gratis this Christmas on a couple of people that were needy. I don't know if they were needy. I just thought they could use some help, so I've helped some people. Something struck me a couple years ago, and I still think about this, is that Santa Claus, there should be a rule on Santa Claus for your kids. If your kids go to school, a mixed school, when I say mixed school, I'm talking about poor and rich people. If your kids go to school with all upper class or upper middle class kids, get them whatever the hell you want for fucking Santa Claus. If he wants to send them to St. Thomas, then do it, because everybody else can afford that same shit. But if your kid's in class with a bunch of other kids whose parents don't have nothing and they're on a fixed income, try to make Santa Claus more of a normal gift, and then you buy them something special from you so another little kid don't think he did something wrong. You know, Johnny got an Xbox and I got a pair of socks.
Right.
And that's touched on me a lot lately.
Well, and it's not fair to my kids to have to, miss out on something just because there are kids that are less fortunate, because my kids are less fortunate than the fucking Trump kids or something. So, I mean, if we're comparing ourselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying with Santa, though. But
I understand.
If you and Jesse bought them something normal from Santa, because in their classes, your kids are probably on the upper end in your kids' classrooms.
Right.
So your kids are going to have a better Christmas than probably any kid in their class is, or close to it, because y'all can afford more. But if you bought your kids something normal for Santa Claus and then bought them something nice from you, they wouldn't go back to school and say, well, Santa Claus bought me a new iPhone.
Right.
Or whatever it is. And I feel sorry for people like that.
Holidays have to be the most stressful time it's stressful for everybody, but, I mean, really, if you're pinching pennies.
I came to work the other day, and someone that worked for us was pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
And I asked what's going on, and it was what you just exactly talked about.
Yeah.
And
keeping up with the Joneses.
And I said, what's the issue? What's the problem? How can I help you? And it's sad that the biggest help for anyone is money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with everybody. Or not everybody, but that's the majority of problems for people. And then you've got the problem where, money just don't fix everything. There's somebody out there right now who thinks he can just buy happiness for everyone around him. Mm-hmm. Well, I was a shitty dad all year long, so I'm going to buy you a brand new Porsche. Well, buying someone a brand new Porsche is not going to answer you being a shitty dad.
Right.
It
might make them happy on Christmas Day. They're going to be happy with you until New Year's.
You got 3 side chicks that are pissed off, your wife and your girlfriend. Well, money's not going to fix all them problems. But I feel so sorry for people that are genuinely good people that just are down on their luck. And let's face it, if you get in that rut, it's hard to get out of that rut if you don't have a means of some help or something. There are people out there who have nobody to help them.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody. They don't have
family
members. Most people,
I'd say.
And that's horrible. Like, I got Tony to help me.
Tony can't even help himself.
Tony is all dolled up. His shirt has been ironed. He's wearing shorts.
To go to a Christmas thing.
In the Metroplex. And he's looking for something. What are you looking for, Tony?
Condoms.
What? My vest. Your vest?
Your vest
Look
doesn't go
behind
with
the
that.
table. I mean, look behind the sofa or the. Look behind where Ollie's at.
He's gonna look like a dickhead. Don't put his. Surely that's gonna go with another outfit. Could you imagine him?
You wearing a vest with that? Okay.
Good.
No,
that'll look fine.
Your shin gear deal.
Yeah, that look kind of funny with this.
Yeah,
You
it would
look
look. It
nice.
would not look good.
You've lost 7 or 8 pounds this month, haven't you? You have. You look good. I was giving you a compliment.
Gonna have to find fatter friends to hang out with.
Well, there are some of them girls you hang out with.
Gabriel's girlfriend.
Not good.
Well, this is going to be our only podcast for the rest of the week until after Christmas, and we wish
We've
everyone.
done 2 this week.
Yep, and we wish everyone.
2 and the pick'em.
Yep, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. God bless y'all. I know that most everybody out there's got a lot to be thankful for. We just have sometimes got to look further to find it.
Yeah, because you're listening to this on a fucking smartphone.
Yeah.
At the very minimum, you're listening to it on an Android or an Apple,
Or your TV.
or you're watching it over fucking Magic.
Flat screen,
Yeah,
60-inch
it's on a
TV or 70-inch
yeah.
TV.
Like we're up on your TV, we're up on your wall right now, and you're watching us on YouTube.
And we
So-
know because we get pictures all the time of people. Somebody had a very nice living room the other day they had with a rock fireplace,
Yeah.
and they sent me a picture and said, I'm watching y'all on the big screen.
What's bad is when I bought these cameras, I was expecting people to watch it like I did on my phone. I never expected people to cast us on a 60-inch television. So better cameras are in the future for
Somebody was
Stanfield
watching
hunting
this at a
outfitters.
bar about a month ago. They sent me a picture of their
Really?
local bar. They
Wow.
were listening to us on their bar.
That's pretty cool.
Thought that is fucking pretty cool.
Getting drunk and
Drinks on the house if you do that.
You're going to pay for it? You're going to Venmo them?
No,
or
no,
what?
no, no. I'm just saying drinks on the house.
Oh.
Somebody else will pay for it.
Oh, I thought you were going to Venmo these people. If they turned us on in a bar, you'd Venmo them.
Somebody
Round
send,
of drinks.
Somebody send me some pictures at a bar, and you listen to it, and I'll send you a bottle of hooch.
No, like it's got to be broadcasting in the entire bar.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like have it on your phone over there in the corner.
You got us at B-Dubs. and
Yeah.
We'll be very fucking, I'll be impressed right there.
Order around and we'll Jeff will buy you a round of drinks. How about that?
How big a round are we talking here?
Oh shit, Jeff, I don't know.
Anyways, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas. God bless you.
Don't forget about the real reason. I mean, it sounds cliche, but you know,
Jesus is the reason.
well, and I mean, just enjoy your family. It's been a hell of a 2 years. I mean, with the fucking pandemic, and we're still in the middle of this shit, and we're locked down. And last year we were away from our families. I didn't go to any of my grandparents' stuff last year on either side, Jesse's or mine. Everybody was afraid of what this shit was, and
You mean Nana and them weren't at our deal?
I didn't go to Rochester, and we did not do anything with her family in Vernon. Everybody.
Oh, our family.
Well, number one, that my grandparents had COVID around Christmas, so and I didn't go to Thanksgiving. So I mean, it's been a hell of a couple years. Enjoy your family, enjoy your health, enjoy your kids if you've got little kids, because it is fun to watch them. The magic of Christmas morning and the night leading up to it. You know,
There's nothing better than a
just-
kid waking up at 3:30 in the morning to go see what Santa brought him. It's
yeah,
not fun when you're
especially
the
for
parent,
me.
But
I'm up at 3:15 every day. Like, this is my 4 days to sleep in, and this little shit's gonna wake up to see what Santa Claus brought him.
your little shits were up about 5:45 this morning.
That doesn't surprise me.
But if you think you've got it bad, you're depressed, and poor me, drive by Children's Hospital.
They say
Things ain't as bad as you think they are.
depression skyrockets this time of year.
It's horrible for people.
It's seasonal. It's got, and that's another thing. So, depression being, you know, it ramps up this time of year because the days get a lot shorter, but that's the reason that we put Christmas lights up. We put lights up. We illuminate everything because it's the darkest time of year and cheers people up, which
I
is
thought we
also
put-
why we bring in the pine tree. It's green, the evergreen tree. It's always green. So it brings life into an otherwise.
So we don't do Christmas lights. It's just a pain in the ass for something to have to take down on Father's Day.
Nope. It's actually it actually lifts people's spirits. Because
Boy, not mine. They don't.
you don't even fucking deal with yours.
That's enough. We had
You
Christmas.
pay you pay somebody to do yours.
Yes, thank God. But there was times that I had to do it myself once or twice. and it's a pain in the ass. But you know what the pain in the ass is? It's when you come home from the lodge at 8:30 at night, after I've been here since 6 in the morning, basically. And
Lights out.
I get home for the second time. I leave the house, it's dark, I come home, it's dark.
Yeah.
I park in the back of the house. Mom parks at the front of the house. So we pull in at we have a driveway that goes completely through the house from the alley to the front of the yard, and she parks on one end, I park on the other. We get there at the same time every night. We leave the lodge, and I get out of the car. She gets out of the car, and she goes, "Did you notice that 4 lights are out?" No. Oh, yeah, the 4 lights out. Do you think you can get that taken care of? Yeah, I'm going to jump my fat ass up there right now and change them out. Yeah. I was like, and this is why I hate fucking Christmas lights. Exactly. That happened on December 3rd. Today is what? December 23rd? 22nd. 19 days in a row I've heard about those 4 fucking twinkle lights. I hate Christmas lights. I hate them.
Your lights aren't twinkling, Clark.
I hate it. I'm telling you, I hate it.
But enjoy your kids. Enjoy the look on their face. Know that you did enough. I mean, that's the main thing. You did enough for them. Just whatever you could do that's enough. That's enough for them, and enjoy them, especially if you've got little kids, because I'm realizing that it's not going to last forever. So
no,
I know you're a pain. I know it's a pain in the ass sitting up till about midnight putting shit together, but those days will be over.
Yeah, buy things that are assembly required. Do not buy,
unless you're going to buy for your nieces or nephews, and then pass that shit along.
No, not if you got some. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just give that to your nieces and nephews.
Well, God bless everyone. Have a Merry Christmas. Be safe. If you're going to drink, don't drive, please. I mean, that's the stupidest thing ever, and I'm going to do the same thing about New Year's Eve. Dumb as hell to get in a car and drink and drive. Anyways, after saying that, we're going to go eat dinner tonight, and I'm going to have me one drink while I eat, probably.
Yep. We'll drink and drive and look at the Christmas lights. You think those rich people are getting their asses chewed out? Look at all these. They're looking at our Christmas lights, and you still hadn't changed that up there. Still got lights out.
I feel sorry for them.
Because they're getting judged.
That's right.
I'm judging them tonight harshly.
Yes. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Merry Christmas.
Check out all of our great sponsors. It's not too late. You can get a late Christmas present, late stocking stuffer. Go to Shin Gear Waiters, Steak Plains Meats, Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Boss Shot Shells, Bangtail Whiskey, Eyesight Drones, Goose Creek Retrievers, Gundog Outdoors, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.